And now joining me is CPR manager Mike Carducci. Mike, thanks so much for coming on the show. Overall, CPR have been on fire this spring. What do you think has been the difference with you guys in the second half of the season compared to the first?
In the first half of the season, we just were consistently working with short numbers and consistent lineups. We've had a much better consistency now in the spring. A bunch of guys have come back from injury. Guys aren't traveling as much. Dealing with, this week and going forward, I'm dealing with a little, it's going to be a little short, but overall, it's been much better in this game. It's less of a hassle for me to, chase people around every week and adapt or bring up reserves or do whatever.
And the games that CPR lost in the fall were almost all against the top six. Did beating Borgetto at the beginning of April feel like a big breakthrough moment for the team?
Yeah, it was such a good match. It was just like everybody made the right pass. Every tackle was timed perfectly. Just everything, every bounce went our way. And likewise, every bounce went against Borgetto. So it was just one of those matches where everything was right for us, and everything just kind of clicked. It was a great match to watch.
Josh Gray returned from injury, scoring 5 goals in total in April. Did you expect him to have this immediate an impact on returning? And how much have you had him in your ear about it?
I really didn't expect it, just because of the fact that he was out the entire fall, and not having him in the middle for us was obviously a big loss, and it made things really difficult for us the entire fall. He's definitely made a big difference now that he's come back, and getting him off the field, having him rest every once in a while is definitely difficult for me. He just wants to play, and it's just one of those guys that just doesn't want to take a break, doesn't want to rest, and he just wants to go. But it's great having him back regardless.
He scored some fantastic goals this month, and the weekend of April 15th and 16th was a special one for you for multiple reasons. What was the personal highlight? Seeing CPR beat Borgetto 6-0 or your wedding?
I think if I said beating Borgetto was the highlight of that weekend, I'd probably be divorced in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to say,
quickest marriage ever.
Marrying the love of my life. Yeah, no. As much as I love soccer, I got to give the nod to the wife.
And why do you? Obviously, you said you had a couple of bounces go your way in that Borgetto game, but I think that's being very humble. You guys, were extremely impressive. I would honestly just say relentless for 90 minutes, even when you were 5 or 6-0 up. Do you feel like that was when the real winner's mentality had just fully clicked in for your players?
Yeah. I really think a lot of it had to do with the fact that everything went our way and everybody was on fire that game. But as far as the mentality is concerned, the guys knew we've had this ability the entire season. It's just putting the pieces together when they're available has been our Achilles heel. I think you even said it yourself in the over the winter when you guys did your big review of D1, that we were the most inconsistent team there. I think that was your words exactly. And it was 100% true. But now that you see that we've had a lot more consistency in the lineup, that mentality's been there all along. It's just having the personnel there to play is really why we've been able to jump up a few spots, and we're close to the top of the table right now.
And it was, the first 5 games of spring, won every single game, incredibly impressive. Obviously, ended with the defeat against Sanzak. It's always a real toss-up when you two play each other. It's a great history of rivalry. It was, this was no different. Looking back, does it feel like, there's a bit of regret with some of the chances you had in that first half to get 2 or 3?
Yeah, we definitely had some chances, and they really didn't have that many. They capitalized on their few chances that they have, and you tip your cap to them. I think that was this past weekend against Anzac was one of those games where you saw like someone like Josh who's been out, where he would finish two or three of those chances that he had that game, whereas maybe that rust was coming to the surface, or not having Matt Barringer on the wing, really hurt us out there because he's been absolutely on fire for us in the spring. And just some of the other guys just weren't able to put the ball on target. Max Cherry is our man around the goal. He always finishes. Trip Burke is just always able to get in front of someone. He's always got that extra step and put the ball across the goal if needed. It just didn't happen for us. You're right. Yeah, that first half was really, really tough, and but the guys, they fought back. They played the entire match. I didn't think we really played our game, and I think that was the main difference, aside from just not finishing in the beginning.
The title race is still in your hands with the game in hand, but obviously there's almost no margin for error now. It's a tough run-in that you have. You got Kelmendi and Manhattan Kickers, which probably you would expect to win, but we know that they can be extremely awkward teams to play. And then you finish with Nyack and Shamrocks. Does every game at this point feel like a cup final?
It's actually felt like a cup final since the Winter Cup that we just happened to join. And the Winter Cup wasn't just the Reds first team; it was a mix of the Reds team, the Reds reserves, and also the Greens in D3. It was just a mix of guys that just wanted to play over the winter. But I think that really ignited a fire under all the guys, because all three teams support each other, and when one player's down, or somebody, or one team is loose in numbers, the other teams pick them up, and it's that fire really was lit in the winter, and we kind of just continued up to this point. But as far as playing teams like this weekend, Manhattan Kickers, like, we had a really tough time against them in the fall. They're a really well managed team. They play really nice soccer. Like, I like how they play. Even our guys liked playing them. It was a real football match. It felt. We did come away with a close win in the fall. So we're hoping to repeat that now. And then next, Kelmendi, those guys are world beaters right now. So we're gonna have to be on the top of our game to take that challenge for sure.
Yeah, I think Mendy, the only team that have won more games than them this spring is you guys. I think. I mean, it's been like a total renaissance. Finally, yeah. The CSL is now celebrating our 100th year, obviously, in a few weeks. In fact, the anniversary dinner is going to be. Do you think the league is the strongest it's ever been?
Well, counting the EPSL as well, then yeah, absolutely. But taking the old D1 out of the mix, and the EPSL as well, it just D1 right now is extremely strong top to bottom. When we don't want to play teams like Kelmendi, we don't play teams like Missile. They can get a win just as easily as teams at the top of the table. So the league is in really great standing right now. Especially D1. I mean, some teams in D2 are extremely strong, should be playing at the D1 level. Even some teams in D3, if they had a reserve, could compete. So as far as the league as a whole, top to bottom, it's a good thing to see. And yeah, it's probably the strongest it's ever been if we're talking top to bottom. Absolutely.
Well, Mike, really excited to follow your final run-in. We're going to be streaming you guys, I think, pretty much every week. And there's going to definitely be more twists and turns. I think your blood pressure is going to keep on rising, unfortunately. But best of luck in the final run-in, and we'll see you on the field again soon. And thanks very much for your time tonight.
No problem. Looking forward to it.